bottom line is Drew Aller can't make plays in big games. That's not necessarily on Franklin. That was a first down play. And Drew Aller is by far and away the most underachieving big-name quarterback in college football.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Tuesday. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Got a great show for you today on Crain & Company. Make sure, again, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 200,000, which is an awesome number. Remember, without you, there is no us. And we have a hell of a show for you today. Now, last week, we didn't do our college football playoff projection. All right? We did the best and worst team from each conference. We gave it a week to breathe. We're bringing it back with Brando, our buddy from Fox Sports, Tim Brando. Yes. What's up, dog? Yes.
What's up, fellas? Great to be with you again.
Definitely, man. It's great to have you, as usual, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn to my left. Speaking of that, we got our Michigan USC preview has already dropped. Make sure you check that out. We got Alabama, Missouri. We've got the Red River Shootout. Yes, that's right. It's the Red River Shootout. And then Auburn and Georgia as well. Make sure you check that out. Blaine Crain, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, to my right. So here's how this is how it's gonna go down, Timmy B. We're going to each put up our graphic that we made for our college football playoff. And again, this is a projection of where we think it's going to go. Our power ranking, snapshot in time. Right. This is a projection. We'll tell you the teams. We'll tell you the seeding. We'll tell you the first-round matchups. And then you kind of opine. And again, later on in the year, I'm sure we're going to have you back where you're going to drop some rankings for us on where you think it's going to be, which we always love to have. But first, I just want to ask you this. Can you remember a season up to this point in Week 7 where there were more teams that could win a national championship, not just make the playoff, not maybe sneak into a second round or third round game, but actually win it? Because I can't remember a year where we've had more, even going all the way back as far as I can remember.
No, not at all. And by the way, I think we were probably saying the same thing last year, and I think we'll continue to say it. And that list of teams will grow from, say, I think it's 20 to 25 this year that have literally have a chance at this stage. Okay. Of those that are of the 2025, when I say 20 to 25, I mean to make the playoff. Yeah. Now, I would probably whittle that down to 10 to 12 to win the whole thing. But 20 to 25 right now can say, we can make 12. Sure. Absolutely. When we get to 16, we're going to be talking about 35 or 40 teams at this stage of the year. Okay. And honestly, my thoughts are, and this is, again, the reason why you're not seeing one for me now, as I respectfully said, I'll just check out what you guys have, is because I'm so caught up in the regular season. And I honestly, this is just a critique, not of you, but of just everyone in the media in general. This rush to judgment for the CFP, I think, is kind of, for me, it's like, hey, every Saturday's just been so good. Can't we just enjoy it? Yeah. We're barely into October. But I get it. It's the world we live in. And whether it's the digital world or the cable world, everybody wants to go that route. And so I guess you can't stop it. It's like that ship going out to sea and me trying to convince fans that we're not going back. Okay, we're just going forward. And so forward means talking about the college football playoff. So that part of it I get. I'm just not smart enough to come up with 12 teams right now. I'm just not.
Well, as a lover of college basketball, like we all are, it kind of reminds me of bracketology. Yeah. It's one of the things I love the most is that we get to a certain point of the season, you start to look at,
I agree with that. I think about it like a puzzle, and I understand the criticism of thinking about the playoff too.
For sure.
I think about it like putting a puzzle piece together because one impacts the other.
For sure.
The playoff is not completely disjointed from the regular season. Actually, us sitting in here for 45 minutes this morning saying, well, if this team loses to that team and then it's 9-3 instead of 10-2, how does this impact 10-2 in the other conference? Yeah. That's fun for me even in Week 7.
And it's just an add-on on the games already that are happening.
Oh, for sure. But I love that, and I'll make this point too, David, and I haven't heard anybody else say this. I was thinking about this on the drive up to work this morning before we get in these brackets. I'm not saying that a group of 5 team will win the national championship, but I cannot remember a year, and this may be different 4 or 5 weeks down the road when maybe Ohio State's really hitting their stride or if Miami can continue to play this well. I don't know if there's ever been a better opportunity for a group of 5 team to advance in the college football playoff because we don't see, and again, we've made a little bit of this argument for Miami. They've been the most complete, they look the most dominant, but there's not that one team that we're like, oh God, if a group of 5 team just absolutely has no chance. And then people say, well, Miami destroyed USF. But I think this is the best shot that the group of 5 ever has had to win a playoff.
Well, even if the group of 5 team goes and gets blown out, I don't think it changes the overall point that Tim has already made in that this is the most teams we've seen be able to win a national championship, even more so than a year ago. During the initial run of the 4-team college football playoff, we never saw even more than 3, right? There were some instances where we're trying to put the 4th team in there. Yeah. Who's going to go and lose to Alabama? Who's going to go and lose to Georgia? And then last year, Buckeyes go 10-2, would not have made a 4-team playoff, much less a 2-team BCS era, and they go on a 4-game win streak and win the whole thing. They probably would have been, 7 or 8, something like that. Now, Tim's bringing up numbers 10 to 12 that could legitimately win it. I don't think you're wrong.
No, and I'll tell you something, in deference to your point about USF, remember this, they had just come off 2 unbelievable wins against teams that weren't expected to be losers to them. And then, Miami, at some point, I don't care how good your upstart team is out of the group of 5, at some point, that's going to get the best of you. So I think Miami, that score to me was a little inflated because of where it fell on the schedule and what they had to do. And by the way, only group of 5 teams have to go through that kind of battering ram of early season games because they're money games, regardless of who it might be. Boise State took it on the chin from Notre Dame last week. I think that's a culmination of some of what they've gone through to this point. But man, you look at Memphis, and it's hard not to say they're legit. You look at Summerall is still one of the hottest names out there, even though he got spanked at Ole Miss. And you guys know, in the beginning of the year, I had Tulane based on my ranking them where I did. I had them beating Ole Miss at Ole Miss. I was wrong. I flat out missed on that. Lane Kiffin's done a hell of a job, and it doesn't matter who his quarterback is, apparently. All right. Yeah. He's done a hell of a job in that team. And that's why they're where they are. I don't think Ole Miss is necessarily the 4th best team, but who the hell else are you going to put there now? Right. Yeah. Who the hell else are you going to put in that position? The 3 teams that are up top, you can argue about Miami and Oregon and positioning to some extent. Miami, I think, probably deserves to be 2 more than anybody else. But an Ohio State deserves to be 1 because right now they're the champs and you got to knock them off. They've not played an impact game like Miami has a couple of times. So we'll see. But I'm not going to knock them off that perch based on what they've done. I think they've handled what's been put in front of them enough to hang on to number 1. But none of those teams are elite, Jake. None of them. I don't see anybody so elite that they're going to just roll through the rest of the way. I don't see any of these teams coming through undefeated. I still don't. I believe somebody is going to knock off the Buckeyes. Somebody's going to knock off Miami. I don't know who, but somebody somewhere is going to have that happen. And Oregon, look, there's a good chance that they can lose too. If Drew Aller doesn't make a stupid play, they probably lose that game in overtime. And by the way, James Franklin's getting beaten up this week after what happened with UCLA. And yeah, I get that. But don't tell me the emotional fallout from the way they lost on the whiteout game didn't play a role in that sluggish start at a mostly vacant Rose Bowl. Bottom line is Drew Aller can't make plays in big games. Yeah. That's not necessarily on Franklin. That was a first down play. Okay, a first down play, and all they needed was a touchdown and the 2 point. They had the edge mentally. Just get down there. Don't throw that ball into traffic on a 5-yard out. Are you kidding me? Yeah. You can't put all of it on the coach. Some of this is about performance under pressure, and Drew Aller is by far and away the most underachieving big-name quarterback in college football.
Yeah, and look, especially now that they're getting paid, I understand. I mean, I think you can critique players now at a different level than you were able to. They were still getting paid. They just didn't tell us about it. But at the end of the day, James Franklin did bring in Drew Aller. Turn down the Manning
Passing Academy 2 years running.
Yeah, well, there's a reason you do that. But James Franklin did bring in Drew Aller. Not only that, he kept Drew Aller, and I'm watching Bo Prabula at Missouri look like the best quarterback that was on that roster. So at the end of the day, to me, you're either coaching it, recruiting it, or allowing it to happen.
Yeah, you don't have to get me started on Drew.
Yeah, but to your point about Ole Miss, quickly, Blaine said they're the most flawed team in the top 5. What a great problem to have.
Yeah.
That's the most high
Isn't it?
God, I wish Auburn had
It'd
that
be great.
problem.
That's why I was saying the same thing. Like Georgia fans are going to complain every year, and they win 10 games.
Yeah,
what's the biggest flaw?
I'm just hoping Jack Darnold
that
throws the
only
ball.
means. Yeah, Lane, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm going to start thinking differently here because what does that mean? That means that their ceiling for success moving forward is greater than any of the other 3 that are in front of them.
You got more cushion.
I mean, I don't think they played their best football by any stretch. But when you could take a Division II quarterback from Ferris State and not skip a beat, then you're on to something right there. And by the way, speaking of the Missouri QB, what do you think Drinkwitz is thinking right now? Knock, knock.
Outside zone.
Anybody at home, ESPN? Knock, knock, knock. Anybody home at ESPN? Think you might want to throw some love our way? We're going to get a big game. You're going to put us on opposite Big Noon. Oh, okay, I see what you think of us. Here's what ESPN thinks of Missouri. They're going to put them on Big Noon just to try to derail the Big Noon window and the overall ratings for Fox. Smart programming move, but it also tells you ESPN does not think a hell of a lot of Missouri.
Well, I'll do you one better. They're going to put Missouri on at 11 for their biggest game in God knows how long, and then they're going to go make them play Auburn at night in Jordan-Hare the next week. But all right, let's get into the brackets. Follow the bouncing ball. All right, let's go ahead and put mine up on the screen. All right, let's go ahead and throw mine so Timmy B can see it here. Here's what I got. I've got Miami 1. I think they go undefeated, Timmy B, at this point. I do. I think they do. I do. I mean, it's gotten to a point now they're beating teams so bad in the second half, Mario can't screw it up with the time. Ohio State at 2.
Well, that's exactly why I would disagree with Miami because I think Mario will be
I don't think you're crazy
for in-game coaching at some point.
Yeah, all right, so I got Ohio State 2. Just at this point, that defense, I'm not seeing how anybody scores more than 17 points against these guys from here on out. I'm really not seeing it. But the one I think is the most interesting, I'm looking at Texas Tech, and I'm watching the level of play up front and their ability to move people on the line of scrimmage. I look at the rest of their schedule. I think there's a decent chance they go undefeated, and they're the only representative out of the Big 12. But then I have Georgia at 4, because when I look at the rest of the schedules in the SEC, again, could Georgia go 9-3? Yes, they could. But I think Georgia actually makes the SEC championship game and wins it against the 6th seed Missouri, Timmy B. I got Missouri as the 6th seed, losing the conference championship to Georgia, and playing Michigan as the 11 seed. And then I've got Oregon as the 5, losing the Big Ten championship to Ohio State, playing Memphis in the 12. Then my 7-10, I have Indiana and Oklahoma. I'm interested to see if Oklahoma goes 10-2, they're going to be in. But if they go 9-3, one of those losses is to Texas without John Mateer, the committee better not act like that doesn't have an impact on things and the way that they work. You've got to at least be consistent. And then I've got Georgia Tech at 9. I think they lose the ACC championship game to Miami, playing Alabama as the 8 seed. So looking at all that, that's 4 SEC, that's 4 Big Ten, that is 2 ACC, that's 1 Big 12, and that's Memphis as the group of 5, even though I picked UNLV before the season, and I hope it's UNLV. Timmy B, what do you think about that?
I don't like the Michigan call. I think they're going to get exposed. I don't think they're
You're
good
right.
enough.
Michigan sucks.
They're going to get exposed which way? As a great team?
Well, no, I don't think the quarter. I think that your quarterback alone can't carry you, and they're trying to win with a quarterback making plays alone. I don't think enough is going on around them. I just don't. And I'm looking at I'm trying to check all of this out. And the bottom line is, no, I just don't see it. I just don't see Michigan getting through the rest of that Big Ten schedule unscathed. And I don't mean just losing to Ohio State, which I think they
have them losing to the Buckeyes.
See, yes. So again, what could really throw to quote Timmy B, fly in the ointment is if Washington beats them. But if you look at the rest of their schedule, even if they lose to Ohio State at this point, you're 10-2, and your 2 losses are to a top 10 Oklahoma and the number 1 team in the country. It's just
so you have them beating Southern Cal.
I have them beating USC. I don't think USC can stop the run. Okay. And again, we'll make our picks on Wednesday, but I'll go ahead and give you a little flavor saver on that one. I just wonder if there's anybody in between now and Ohio State that if Michigan goes and doesn't just totally blow it, I think Washington's scary.
Well, there's
but they
no
get
Oregon, no Penn State, no Indiana, and no Illinois.
That's why I got them at the 11, because again, there'd be no great win for Michigan.
No, yeah.
See, in the end, I think you're discounting, David, and a lot of other people are discounting. When it comes to Michigan, you're forgetting how good the rest of the Big Ten's upper half is. It's better. It's improved. I mean, it really is. And I realize the schedule that's in front of Michigan. Mm-hmm. I know they don't have to play them all. I understand all that. But the other teams are going to have, I think, some impressive showings. Like, by example, Oregon right now, I think, is playing above their heads for a team this young. But you got to give Dan Lanning a lot of credit. I mean, a lot of credit. But is Indiana capable of going in there and doing the unthinkable? They may be. Indiana, Mendoza has been the goods. He's been the absolute goods. And I think that the proof will be in the pudding based on what happens in that game. What I'm saying to you is Michigan's going to lose to somebody that you don't anticipate them losing to.
That would shock me.
Just look at your schedule. They're going to, and I don't think that they've got enough from an offensive standpoint, schematically. Okay, they're not doing a hell of a lot. They're just winning with a superior quarterback who's making some unbelievable plays as a freshman. And we all knew he was really, really good. I just think they've got some issues in that locker room that will begin to show up. And when I say in the locker room, I mean not player unrest. Fans get nuts about that in Big Blue, in the land of blue. I get that, maize and blue. But the bottom line is this kid's just been a Herculean talent, and I don't see enough help in other places. Do they run the ball really well downhill? Yeah. And did they expose Nebraska by gouging them, running the ball downhill? Yeah, they did. But that was early in the season. That's late September. Michigan's a really easy team to prepare for, in my opinion. Okay? They're gonna force you to stop their run, and then they're gonna beg for you to play man coverage so your quarterback can go wild running the football like Jalen Milroe did on LSU so many times. All right? But that's not enough, in my view, to get you through the Big Ten, because the league is so much better. So-called average teams are a lot better than they once were. All right. Nebraska would have lost the game I had to Michigan State had they played that game any other year than this year. They're going to improve. Matt Rule's team's going to improve. Minnesota had played one really stinking game in Cal, but they're capable of upsetting somebody. Illinois had a stinker against Indiana, but if they bounce back, I mean, there are just enough teams out there in the Big Ten that may not be considered top tier that are capable of knocking Michigan off. And I think it's going to happen.
Well,
and couple that with an Ohio State loss, and I think you're in trouble.
Today's episode is brought to you by Raycon. It's Raycon's anniversary, so we're hooking you up with a 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. Solid performance, all-day comfort, and they fit right in your pocket. Now, these earbuds, they've been the go-to for so many reasons. I'm not going to talk about jogging. They don't fall out of my ears, right? You need to make sure and grab a pair. We've all used them. We all love them. One of the best things is they come with active noise cancellation, and the new colorways are super clean. Make sure you check them out. They got violet, they got cool mint, they got blush, a bunch of different colors. And it feels like a part of your gear, not just another gadget. The quick charge gives you 90 minutes from a 10-minute charge. You get up to 32 total hours of battery life with the case, and awareness mode keeps you tuned into your surroundings when you need it. Over 3 million people already trust Raycon, and with 30-day happiness guarantee, there's zero risk. You don't love them, send them back. But you're going to love them, I promise you. Again, we've used them for years, and they're fantastic. So go to buyraycon.com/booster to get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's buyraycon.com/booster. Well, I think it's like that really around the country right now. There's so many more teams that
it is.
Actually,
every league is dealing with that.
Sounds like I'm picking on Michigan.
No,
I'm sorry, but
I mean,
it's true with a lot of it. It's true with a lot of teams.
Segue to mine quickly while we're on this point, because I don't have Michigan in my college football playoff right this second. Jake, I think I'm a week away on this.
Wow.
I want to see them go on the road 2 time zones away and beat USC in a similar fashion to last year, rushing for 290 yards. I mean, that's something that I want to see. And then if it's 10-2, is that good enough? Do you have the marquee win to be able to
Is Biff Poggi
get in?
going to that game?
He'll be there.
Good.
I don't know what I agree with Tim that they're flawed. I mean, like we've just said, there's no elite team. They are flawed, but I also think they're better than they were a year ago, and they beat the Buckeyes and they beat Alabama a year ago. Dave Portnoy made a good point at one point in the Wisconsin game. He said, if Michigan keeps playing like this, they're not going to beat any other team except for the Buckeyes this year. So, look, take that for what it's worth. I'm a week away on them, though, but here's mine. I do have Miami number 1 as well. I don't know about the undefeated point, Jake, but I'll tell you what, they left Dade County for the first time last weekend. What a win in Doak Campbell to go beat Florida State thoroughly. In every way you can dominate a team, they did it. Carson Beck looks incredible. They got freshman wide receivers making plays all over the place. Defense looks great. I mean, Bain should be the leader for the Heisman right now. If we really want to have an honest conversation about the best player winning it. But anyway, I have Oregon number 2 right now, winning the Big Ten. This is the first time that I've had them that high. We could see a similar situation where they win the Big Ten, but maybe the Buckeyes go further in the college football playoff just like they did a year ago. Alabama at 3 right now. They've done everything you can ask a program to do after that disappointing loss in week 1. I will say, if they find themselves playing Georgia in the SEC championship game in a rematch, I might be inclined to take the Bulldogs, but in this scenario, you could also face Texas A&M because I have them in here as well.
Yeah, it's so hard for me not to put A&M and Ole Miss.
Texas Tech. I am so impressed with this team on both sides of the football. Linebackers are out running around making plays. The offense is incredible. The win at Utah, we can go on and on about why that game and that win was so impressive. But I have them at number 4. And like what Jake was talking about, the way the schedule works out, you go to Arizona State, right? Tim, I don't know. You might be on that call. So we'll find out a lot when they go to Arizona State. But then my 8-9 matchup,
that's going to be big noon.
Okay, I got Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm putting Indiana in the playoff, hosting Ole Miss. I mean, if you look at the way Ole Miss' schedule works out, like I don't think it's crazy for the Lane train to keep rolling and make the college football playoff this year. 7-10, Texas A&M is making its first showing in my college football playoff, hosting Oklahoma. We'll find out more after Red River. Is John Mateer going to play? What point do you get him back in the season? Buckeyes at 5, hosting number 12 Navy. I'm not giving up on my group of 5 pick Navy. They are 5-0, undefeated at this point. For them to make it, though, they're going to play Notre Dame, South Florida, and Memphis 3 weeks in a row.
Hey, control my destiny, dog.
Can you win 2 of those? And if you lose to Notre Dame, can you keep it close? And then that gets me to my 6-11, the Georgia Bulldogs hosting the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in a rematch of last year's college football playoff in Athens. People can be mad about it. They can hate it. I just see a scenario right now where Notre Dame wins out. They're 10-2. Their last loss was in September. People have short memories when it comes to Selection Sunday in December. And in this scenario, who would the 2 losses for Notre Dame be? They would be to the number 1 seed that I have right now in Miami and the number 7 seed in Texas A&M.
And I don't know if you saw, David, but that Notre Dame offense looks like a playoff offense last week against Boise State.
Playoff offense.
Man,
it does. I'm interesting. If you look at my current top 15 and my just out, I don't have Notre Dame mentioned at all. And
good for you.
Because
me neither.
I got to see it. I got to see it. But I have said from the beginning, and I said in the in my preseason poll, which always garners some attention, and you guys get the debut, that Notre Dame would make it, and they would make it with 2 losses. So I don't disagree at all that they can win every game they got left. No doubt in my mind, they can win every game that they got left. I do think that looking at your scenario, the team that I like the most that's in there, that maybe some people haven't thought that much about, is Marcel Reed's Texas A&M Aggies, because that game, the way he won that game, is going to echo throughout the remainder of the year, despite what losses A&M may have the back half of the season. If Notre Dame gets in and runs the table, that only makes A&M look better,
for sure,
even if they happen to be a 9-3 team, okay, or a 10-2 team out of the SEC. I also think you guys are wrong on the Big 12. I love Texas Tech, yes. I do think that they are a team that could get all the way to the semifinals, maybe even to the championship game. They've been a little sloppy and still won big. They've had a lot of turnovers, needless false starts, just not looked really sharp in some of their wins. But my goodness, is that roster strong, and that defense is magnificent. I told you guys when we had them, I think it was week 3 of the season, we had them right before they had that game with Utah. I thought for sure they would go up and spank Utah, and they did, and they didn't even need Barrett Morton to do it. They just went to Will Hammond, who, by the way, if you're going to put Morton among the top 5 quarterbacks, you better put a slash and Will Hammond next to him, because that kid could come in, and that offense doesn't change at all. He's got a great future too. But Arizona State is a team that I'm not going to give up on at all. Okay, they've got some deficiencies right now, other than Tyson, who's out there that can catch passes for them. But Levitt is just, boy, it's hard to go against that guy. Sam Levitt is so good. And their run game, even though they don't have Cam Scattaboo, and it's different because they don't, they've got 3 really good backs that over time I think you're going to see get more and more yardage out of their legitimate run game, which is only going to make Levitt a little bit more, I think, difficult to defend in the passing game. They just need to find that good second and third receiver, other than maybe a tight end. I want to see somebody else lining up on the opposite side of Tyson, who arguably is the Biletnikoff winner this year. If Jeremiah Smith isn't, Tyson is.
Well, I'll say this too. You want to talk about making yourself some money this year. We talk about guys that are losing money, like Cade Klubnik, some of these other quarterbacks that haven't come through. I think Sam Levitt has made himself a lot of money so far. I think Ty Simpson has made himself a lot of money so far. But I'm going to tell you the guy who's come out of nowhere to make a lot of money. And if you don't know ball, he came out of nowhere. But you're going to start hearing this, is Sawyer Robertson at Baylor. Because if I'm an NFL GM and I'm turning the tape on and I'm watching, Sawyer Robertson's NFL ready right now.
Checks every box.
Oh, big time.
Like, I mean, the way that guy works through the pocket, fellas, shoot.
Shame on us for forgetting how great the Big 12 is at the position of quarterback.
For sure.
Okay, Josh Hoover
too. Great call.
Josh Hoover is unreal. We've got him this week. Devin and I do at K-State. They lost a heartbreaker. I mean, they had a 17-0 lead at Arizona State and couldn't hold on because ASU just, you know what? They said, let's go get it. We've got to get this thing taken care of. And maybe Arizona State learned from its lesson, losing the way they did in Stark Vegas. Think about this. If they run the table the rest of the way, Arizona State, and they match up against Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship, and their only loss is that game in Stark Vegas, and they happen to upset Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game, how the hell are you going to keep them out? How the hell are you going to keep Arizona State out?
There's no way.
I don't think you can.
Because you're going to have.
I think they're capable of doing it. Yeah. Other than Dan Lanning, the best young coach in America is Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's not crazy. I know we bring up Sawyer Robertson. Yeah, I mean, he brought up Biletnikoff. I know this guy's technically not a receiver, but I don't think he's talked about enough. Michael Trigg. For Baylor.
Big time.
He's an NFL player.
Well, he runs
USC
routes, too. Like, it's not like he's Darnell Washington.
Yeah, I saw he was at USC and at Ole Miss.
No, he's been this is like school three, but hey, sometimes you got to kiss a few frogs, brother.
Dude, he's so good. He's so good.
But
all right, let's go ahead and bring mine up.
He's talented.
Timmy, this is the best one, obviously. Look, it killed me to make a playoff bracket and not have Vanderbilt in it. I'm going to be honest. Icarus might have flew a little bit too close to the sun, but let's see what they can do. I'm starting off with Miami at 1. I think they go undefeated. I go look at that schedule. I mean, the game I'm probably worried about the most is at Pitt. At the end of the year, because Pitt's a pretty damn good team on both sides of the ball. 2, give me the Oregon Ducks. Look, they might be young, and I understand that, but you can see the culture instilled in that place, and you go look at their schedule. I think they're a better team right now than Indiana. That game's going to be close, but I got them winning the Big Ten championship. Then Alabama at 3. David, a lot of similarities here with me and yours. I got Alabama.
Stop looking at his paper, bro.
I got Alabama winning. Yeah, what'd you get for number 6? I got Alabama winning the SEC championship. I just think right now Ty Simpson is a difference.
Dialed.
To me. And he's only getting better and better. And Timmy, I'm going to be honest with you, it hurt me not to put more than one Big 12 team in here because, trust me, I'm a huge Sam Levitt guy in Arizona State, but I do have Texas Tech winning this game. But I do think they drop a game, right? I think they drop one game, but I do think they end up winning the Big 12 championship, and you're sitting at 4. Then number 5, Ohio State, losing to Oregon in the Big Big Ten championship. I still think they're going to be so good. That's a 5-12 matchup with my boys from South Florida. Give Bryce Brown and Gullis
Byron
some
Brown. Bryce Brown played at Auburn.
Yeah, Byron Brown and Gullis some damn respect. I mean, another big win. And I'm telling you, I mean, they're going to play everybody's in here, right?
Yeah.
Tulane.
Memphis,
They're going to play
Tulane,
Navy. Like, we're going to find out about the group of 5, and I can't wait. Let's go to my 6-11 here. I got Georgia at 6.
Okay.
And look, I got Notre Dame.
Wow.
At 11.
I thought I'd be the only one.
I don't want to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but I know they're going to do it. I know the committee's going to do it.
Yeah.
I knew after they lost against A&M. After what Notre Dame did against Arkansas, when they scored 50 points, that literally on that broadcast, on that game, they were already talking about Notre Dame making
100%. I saw it.
I looked at Jake. I was like, here we go.
Yeah, it was already starting.
Timmy B, it just magically blossoms. It doesn't matter who they play.
The brat summer.
Let's go to the top left here for my 8-9. Give me Georgia Tech versus Indiana.
Ooh.
I mean, you want to talk about
Is
a match?
Haynes King still alive
That's a great
at
one.
this point?
You can't kill him.
That's a hell of a
You can't
matchup.
kill him.
He's
He's
the
Private Dawson from Hacksaw Ridge. You can't kill him, and he's out here saving everybo's life. He doesn't even have a gun. He doesn't even have a gun. He just goes in there and saves
Is that the
everybody.
main character?
Yeah. It's
Conscientious
the
objector.
guy who played Spider-Man too,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
You know,
And that's such a
I gotta
great
tell
comp.
you I got to tell you, fellas, and this sort of hurts me to have to say it. It does. I'm going to take Blaine's bracket over the other
Let's
two.
go.
I'm going to take Blaine. I'm all in with Blaine.
Anyway,
Let's go,
Tim Brandon,
Tim.
thanks for
You've
joining us.
established
Yeah.
yourself
Now,
as
you
a
should,
Tim.
non-ball knower.
you should have a second Big 12 team in. I'm a little disturbed with all of you for not having a second Big 12 team in, because I think the Big 12 is worthy of two.
He copied my
and I'm
paper,
going to bank
Tim.
on Arizona State being
Excuse
that
me,
team.
Tim. I'm sorry, David.
I'm
Shut
going
up.
to bank
Copy
on
my
Arizona
paper.
State being that second team.
Well, how about we do
I
this?
think
Hey,
ASU
screw the group
is
of
only gonna
5.
get
Just put
better.
Arizona State in there.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they're that good, and it's so crazy because like you did lose Cam Scatterbo, but like, you're kind of running the ball even better.
Well, it's just like,
Yeah,
to
you
me, Levitt reminds me so much of Bo Nix, man. Like, I think he's quicker laterally than Bo Nix
Sure,
is, actually.
yeah.
But like, there's so many
Absolute gamer.
similarities.
Yeah.
Like, and just like a ball player, man. Like Sam
It's
Levitt
just you
will.
didn't expect like
the
I look at
issue-
the Big 12 and expect carnage. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, the issue that they had, and it happened to them before they lost the game at Mississippi State, they're inside the 5-yard line. They're at the goal line. And Dillingham is like, no, forget the points. Let's just go for it. We'll get it in. We're tough. We can get it in. And even though the backs are good, they're all good, they're not Scatterbo. And they found that out. So they get nailed at the goal line, and they're so deflated, and they're on the road, and they had all of the, Mississippi State was going crazy because of what Kenny had said earlier in the week about, where they were going to have to stay, and there are no hotels in Stark Vegas, all this. And he took the
He
heat
just
for
made a
that.
map.
But they had a blitz called, and the nickel slips and falls, and they give up a 60-yard touchdown pass. And look, good for Mississippi State, good for Blake Shapen. They're good. State's going to upset a few more people before the season's over. All right, maybe even this week they're going to upset somebody. But the bottom line is they lost. That game was an anomaly. All right, and they've learned their issues were in the red zone, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I think they've now figured that part of it out, and so they're not going to be settling for as many threes in late October and November as they were in September and early October. That's my view, and I'm going to stick to it.
Well, I mean, I think you find out your identity without Scatterbo, because Scatterbo was your supercharger. He was this guy gets us going. Now
No
it's going to
doubt
be
about
Sam
it.
Levitt.
Well, when you're down 2 touchdowns to Texas in the Peach Bowl, who goes for 250 yards? He's throwing
And throwing it.
rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Guy's doing it for the Giants. I have him on my fantasy.
Yeah.
I wish he wouldn't have fumbled. He was a touchdown scorer.
I have one question for you, Tim. If I guaranteed you that one and only one of Penn State and Texas would make the college football playoff, which would you pick?
Whew.
I know who I'd pick.
Gosh, that's a hard one. I mean, that's really a hard one, David. I think I would go Penn State.
I agree.
I think I would go Penn State because at least we sort of know what happened to them. All right. They blew it at home in a whiteout game. And now they're going to a completely vacant Rose Bowl against a team that no way, I don't care how good of a coach you are, to motivate your team to go out and play a game at a place where, you're still likely to have more fans and alumni base out there than UCLA has fans in their own building. They dug themselves too deep a hole. Now, all credit to Coach Skipper, and I was so happy for Jerry Neuheisel. And by the way, that was great TV with Rick in the studio at CBS. Again, that's one of my things is when we start talking about the CFP so much, we lose sight of just how incredible that was. That will never happen on Sundays. Games like UCLA winning the way they did, that never happens on Sundays. That's what college football delivers, and it's the reason why I believe Miami gets knocked off. It's the reason I believe some of these teams that you guys think are just unbeatable are still very beatable. But that's what separates the game. But Penn State right now, I have a better understanding of why they lost than I do with Texas. Texas just looks like they're completely underachieving, and it's not all on Arch. Okay, he's not getting help.
Line's playing terrible.
He's really not getting help. He kept them in that game at Florida. Without him, it's over fast, really fast. Pretty incredible when you think about it, how bad we were. And Clemson, how wrong were all of us about Clemson? We missed on Texas. We missed on Clemson. I'll say that now. Hand to God, I blew it on those two teams.
Well, when you predict every team to do something, like you're gonna hit on some, you're gonna miss on
like this Clemson team, like
the Clemson
this Clemson team, like 3,000 years from now, needs to be looked back and studied.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, why wait?
And I've always thought if UCLA was smart, if they were smart and wanted people to show up for the games, why don't we say there's a protest happening at the stadium? You'll fill, how many seats does that thing fill? How many?
A lot.
Just say there's a protest happening at the stadium. You'll have 80,000 people show up. Now, they may be pissed off when they find out what's actually going on.
89,700.
And you get all the recruits to go to that game. All right? And then you're wondering, like, hey, why do they have all these protests?
Then they show up, they find out that you lied to them, and then they start rooting for the other team. And now there's 90,000 fans rooting against
at least you watched.
At home.
At least you watched.
Yeah.
But
you gotta start
think
somewhere.
Think about it. If Gavin Newsom can get those organized get-togethers that they're having now, and I don't care who it is, name your group, all right? Just name your group. If he can get them all there, hell, the National Guard will help fill the joint.
For sure. Well, and then you got to ask yourself, why are they all wearing black?
Yeah.
Like I said, you got to start.
It's a blackout.
It's better than an
empty
stadium.
It's a blackout at
The
UCLA.
Bruins can go with a blackout game.
That's exactly right.
But
I'm telling you, I'm next level, bro. Just let me be the AD for like
They should
10
actually,
minutes.
if Michigan and USC are playing in Los Angeles this Saturday, they should just play that in the Rose Bowl, and then it would sell out.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But, Timmy B, speaking about watching, what game will you be on this weekend so we can all make sure we tune in?
Well, I get to see the Horned Frogs again. It'll be the second of 3 games on Fox. So we'll be on right after Big Noon. Devin and Josh and myself. We got, boy, Kansas State. How bad must they feel? Losing the way they did to Baylor. Oh, boy. But you know what? I knew Baylor, and that's another team that's going to be a spoiler. You mentioned Sawyer Robertson. That's another team that can really screw it up for others. And don't sleep on Kansas. You know what the Jayhawks did last year, knocking out Colorado. Those are teams that can scare you in the Big 12, and that's probably the reason you guys don't have Arizona State getting through into the playoff. You figure on more carnage out of the Big 12. But and the following week, we'll be tracking Nebraska again.
Okay.
A week from Friday, we've got the Cornhuskers at Minnesota, and that's a team, by the way. Okay, I'm telling you, Rule is going to get that team to 10 wins with a bowl victory. I think they're going to finish the year with 9 victories in the Big 10, get a bowl win to get them to 10. They're only getting better. I'm telling you, Nebraska has the culture right now, despite how ugly that first half was against Michigan State. I think that they're going to win 10 games this year before it's all said and done.
And who beat them?
The Builder.
Okay.
No, you talking about Michigan?
Well,
I like the way you put it about.
Yeah,
I like the way you brought that back.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
Okay.
Because of where, and you know what, David? Nebraska had a lot of come to Jesus meetings after that defeat.
Yeah.
And they're shoring up that problem. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, God, he looks a lot like Justice James. But Timmy B, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Make sure you guys check him out. Him and Devin, Josh, they do an incredible job. It's a lot of fun to watch. We appreciate you watching us. Let us know in the comments which one of the brackets did you like the best and why was it mine? Please let us know.
Tim said it was mine.
Well, Timmy B took yours, all right? We get it.
So I don't care about your comments. Tim said it was mine.
Okay, that's fine.
I care about your comments.
Well, we care about your comments down below. Timmy B, thanks again, brother. And like the chances of me not being ready for the games to already start, we're going. Gone.